Hey Colin, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. So I'm gonna walk you through a demo of the services I asked yesterday if you could possibly take on more tree removal jobs in Atlanta. Um, so my name is Joel Filson. I do local SEO. I have a business partner down in Smyrna, Georgia, pretty close to Atlanta. So we've been expanding from Connecticut, New York to Atlanta now. Tree removal is a big space, and I'm gonna just pretty much quickly show you what I do. So if you see for this phrase, tree removal in Atlanta, it's searched about 260 times a month, and the cost to advertise per click is about $25. So the ads here that are running, they're probably paying a little less than $25. So I would build a website, I would optimize it, and I would run the ads on it to then sell you the leads if you're interested in that service. So that's one way I can help you. The second way is through local SEO. So local SEO pretty much is when someone's searching this phrase in Atlanta, they're looking for a local business. They're looking for this service in a local business. And you can see here there's a few listings that come up. Mostly, people trust the first three the most, and they just quickly go to any of these. Um, what I would do is I'd help you provide your service in the areas you would like to show up on the first page of Google for, or the top three. Mainly, we focus on getting you to a top three. So I plugged your website into a tool, Ahrefs, that pretty much shows me the anatomy of your website, and pretty much guides me on what I need to do to get you on the first page of Google. So we're going to go through your website and see how Google sees your website and what it understands it's about. So these are keywords here. This is the search volume monthly. Um, this is the traffic. So based on the search volume, how many people actually come to your site, and this is your position where you stand on Google. So when someone search Southeast Tree, you're the first position, and people are searching this about 150 times a month, and you're getting about 54 visitors a month to your site. Now, for instance, your site is not ranking too well for tree removal near me. So if someone is local and they're just looking for tree removal near me, you see it's getting 11,000 searches, but you're on page 3. No one really goes to page 3, but you're getting a few visitors off of that 11,000. So some more interesting keywords I found was this is a very important keyword. 400 searches a month for tree service in Marietta, Georgia, and you're only getting about, we'll say, 4 people to your site. And the reason being, you see this decimal, is because when a person comes to a website and leaves within under 30 seconds, it doesn't really count as a visitor, it counts as a partial visitor. So you can see that here. And that's because you're on page 2. They will get the results they need all on page 1. And that's why a lot of businesses that are beyond page 1 aren't visited most of the time. Because people don't normally shop too deep for a service. So what we would do is we'd fix this up and get you on page 1. Tree service, tree removal, both these terms will bring you such a big ROI, and it'll turn your website into the salesman. So you won't need to pay for leads. You won't need to depend on referrals. People are going to be your phone's going to be ringing off the hook if you can handle the jobs. So let's check out some other phrases. If you want to just focus on Marietta, Georgia, we could. But you see here, you're on page 2. You're on page 2. Emergency tree removal Atlanta. You're on page 1, but because you're at the very, very bottom of page 1, you're not really getting visitors to your site, and that's where we come in. pretty much, also plugged your website into another tool to understand the topic of your website. So this is the number one factor to Google, the H1 and the H2. The H1 pretty much defines what is this website about. The H2 is what is the subtopic of this website. So this is the H1. And if the H1 is not something people are searching for word for word verbatim, then it needs to be changed or it's confusing Google. So people are searching professional tree service in Atlanta, I'm sure, but they're not searching it with a comma and then including all these other areas. So we'd want to focus on one area and then build location pages that focus on this area, tree like professional tree service in this area and professional tree service in this area. So each needs to be individual pages. And then the subtopics of your website should not be the services you provide. They should also be phrases closely related to the main topic. I'm just gonna show you some of my clients right now. They're getting a few calls. I was able to generate them 40 calls last month. And you may be wondering how much this cost. And what I like to do is run a performance-based model. So let's say, for example, if you're on page 3, for a certain term you want to be on page 1 for, be at the very top of page 1 for, we start you at $500 a month. And this is just an example. $500 a month. And then as we get, once we get to page 1, it turns into $1,000 a month. Because now we're on page 1, there's more competition. I have to put more work in. I have to do more stuff. So that's really how it works. And I also offer a 60-day money-back guarantee, and I also offer no contract. So you're not stuck to me, and you don't feel like, oh, what if this doesn't work? How are you going to get out of it? And I'm able to offer these two benefits because my system works. And I know for a fact, once you start working with me, your phone's going to be ringing off the hook. You're not going to want to stop working with me unless you can't handle the business. But I am looking to partner with a tree removal company that services Atlanta, because I'm doing that with, I'm in discussion with a partnership for a tree removal company in Connecticut, because in Connecticut, there's not, in our major cities, there's not companies that are servicing the area as well. So whenever you see a Yelp or Home Advisors as the first listing, it means there's room for a local company to sit above them and get most of the traffic, most of the customers, and more jobs. I want to help a local business grow, and it would be great. So while SEO takes time, because I have to set that expectation, it takes, we'll say, anywhere from 6 months to a year. The time, it's an investment, because the work and the money put in today, tomorrow, it pays off tenfold. And before we move forward, we can definitely schedule a video call, to discuss any objections you have, because I want you to fully understand what you're paying for, or the two different services. And if you're interested in pay-per-call, just remember it's an expense. And if you're interested in SEO, SEO is more of an investment. And I want you to fully understand and ask me any questions you have. Thank you for taking the time to watch this.